Croeso, welcome back to Ceridwen Cottage Diary. I'm out and about having a lovely adventure all by myself. I'm picking up Daisy from university tomorrow, but I've come to one of my favourite places. It's right next to where I grew up, and so I used to explore here all the time as a child. So it was very formative for me. So it formed my aesthetic sensibilities and my feeling of sort of wonder and magic. So this is Erddig, and I'm not going to go around the house today. I'm just going to show you around the glorious gardens. You can see a bit just from behind me. Some beautiful roses. I think this is Rosa rugosa. It's a beautiful walled garden, so I hope you enjoy it. Look at the roses. Wish you could smell them, they're amazing. And this paler pink one, I think, is ballerina. It looks like ballerina. We've got that in our garden. Roses just typify June. Lovely, isn't it? There's lovely woodland behind that I used to play in as a child, full of bluebells and wild garlic. So this is a mini walled garden, and then this is the mini walled garden is set into a larger walled garden. And I would sit in the walled garden when I was a teenager and revise for my GCSE and A-level exams. It was just, I probably didn't do that much revising. I was too busy looking at the plants, I think, and savouring the atmosphere and pretending that I was a heroine from some Victorian novel. But there we go. It was a lovely place to study anyway. Very much has the feeling of a French chateau, actually. Look at the Nepeta. So loved by bees. And I love all the fruit trees that they have all along the walls, proper walled garden style. I think this is a pear here. Just see some pears forming on it. Absolutely lovely. I used to pretend that I lived here as a child and a teenager in the house itself. These Turk's cut lilies are lovely. I've got some in a sort of pale peachy pink, which I'm so sorry. I've been unbelievably busy this month, and I haven't filmed the garden for you this month, and my lilies have already been and gone, so I do apologise for that. I like the fact that they're leaving a lot of the lawns wild these days. So important. In my day, this would have all been mown down to nothing, but it's lovely to see it. Really makes me happy. There has always been such an incredible atmosphere here for me. I don't know if it's because I've known it, well, for as long as I can remember, and it was such a huge part of my childhood and teenage years. But there is a real magic in this place. I think walled gardens are very romantic though, aren't they? I've always wanted to own a property with a proper walled garden all the way around it. Look at the size of this wall. It's absolutely incredible. Can you hear all the birds in the wood beyond? I think that's what I particularly loved about this as a child, because you had this, well, it felt a bit like in Wuthering Heights. I always used to tell myself anyway that I was Kathy and this was Linton's, no, not Linton. Who was the, Edgar Linton? Yeah, was it Edgar Linton? Yeah, that married Kathy in the end, and that this is where she came to, but that, yeah, her and Heathcliff stumbled through the woods here to peer through the gates. It really does have that sort of feel. I don't know if the camera's picking up any of the atmosphere at all, but yeah, I thought I'd treat myself and come. It's my birthday in a couple of days. I haven't been for a long time, and my heart was yearning for it. Such a feeling of nostalgia and home, and yeah, as I said, this place helped me become the person that I am. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. But yeah, so I grew up reading Enid Blyton's Magic Faraway Tree and reading Cicely Mary Barker's Flower Fairies and things. So they were very, very formative for me. And then, of course, living here as well, just the other side of the woods, it was hard not to believe in magic and fairies, or the Tylwyth Teg, as we say in Wales. Yeah, so from a very early age, I was obsessed with gardens and fairies and woodland and old things, old houses, old walled gardens, vintage clothes, you name it. I hated anything new, and I still do. So yeah, I've changed very little from when I was a child, really. And nobody around me could understand it. And my parents liked history, and they liked coming to sort of old houses and having a look round, but they also thought modern was good, and they also thought that being normal and conventional was very good. And so me being obsessed with wearing Victorian clothes and yeah, just wanting to pretend like I was living in another time was quite challenging for them, I think. They do like their Nepeta here, don't they? That's wonderful for the bees. And all of these, gosh, I'm assuming these are still the ones that were here when I was a child. So when I was a child, the original owner, the last member of the York family to ever live here, still lived here. And he was an incredibly eccentric character. I mean, it was the 1970s, but he would cycle round wearing very old-fashioned clothes and ride on his penny farthing, which, if you don't know it, is a very old-fashioned bike. And he was, yeah, an incredible character. And I think if you're my sort of age, in your 50s, then obviously if you're in your 50s or older, you have the immense privilege of knowing people that were essentially Victorians and Edwardians. And yeah, I mean, my grandparents were Edwardians, and it's, you know, it's just amazing. And I knew my great-grandmother, my Welsh great-grandmother, and yeah, she was a Victorian woman. She lived in a little thatched cottage, and it's such a privilege now to think that, and well, I always knew it was a privilege, actually. I always asked lots of questions, but it really was a privilege to know people from these, what I considered very romantic bygone eras, and hearing what it was actually like day to day, and how things had changed, and how very, very odd the world must have been. The huge rapid change that we had in the 20th century, for the people that I was talking to, primarily my grandparents and great grandmother. I'd be really interested, any of you that are my age or older, if you have any interesting stories that you were told by old relatives that straddled the sort of the Victorian Edwardian world, because I think we were very, very privileged to have been able to do that, really. Oh, isn't this lovely? I don't know if that's blush noisette. It seems a little bit tighter, a bit more of a double than blush noisette, but it's gorgeous. It's lovely looking back every now and again at the house itself. I was convinced that one day, when it went over to the National Trust, I was convinced that one day somehow I would manage to live here, but it wasn't meant to be. I like the fact that they're not too tidy here, that you probably saw, I should have pointed it out, the yellow that you can see there, that's evening primrose. Some people might be tempted to weed it out, but it's amazing for particularly sort of night flying moths when it's in flower. And then in my garden anyway, I don't know a plant that goldfinches love more than the seed heads of that. So if you do grow it, please don't be too tidy, leave the seed heads on, because if you love goldfinches, they will thank you for it. This is a lovely oriental poppy. Again, they've left lots of the feverfew, which is a wild plant. I like it as well in my garden. I love the way they've let it just sort of punctuate the border. It just goes all the way along. It's a pretty mallow. I think this is probably in one of the native. I don't know if it's a common mallow. Maybe a little bit too pale for a common mallow, but I think you can get them in a paler colour. Even let the rosebay willow herb do its thing. And they've changed this a lot since I was a child. I am a little bit sad. I mean, it's nice in some ways. They've made it a children's play area, but when I was a child, the bluebell woods used to come right up to the gate, and I loved that. But still, it's nice for the children to have a little woodland area, safe woodland area to play in. But I did love the magic of the woods right up to the gate. Now, I used to love these bear's breeches and used to want to grow them in my garden, but apparently they're actually really bad for British bees. So if you are creating a wildlife garden, possibly don't have them, because they're designed for pollinators from other countries, and our native bees are just too small, so they end up actually getting stuck and dying in the flowers. So yeah, maybe think again. It's a nice double opium poppy. Not that I would grow it because I only grow singles for wildlife, but it's very pretty. I don't think it's showing the colour on camera, but it's a lovely coral colour. The lichness, the rose campion. It's always such a striking colour, isn't it? Particularly with this geranium. Not quite sure who it is. It might be Anne Fulcard. There's quite a few that look very similar, so I'm not really sure. I'm not a complete expert on geraniums, but it is a lovely vibrant one. Salvia amistad has started flowering. Of course, the lovely thing about these wall gardens is that they do create a microclimate, so it is relatively sheltered, though it's actually quite a windy day today. It's another lichness, the red, a different one. This looks like Miss Wilmot's ghost, doesn't it? I do love them. I've tried to grow them in my garden completely unsuccessfully. I have got one in the garden. Maybe this will be the year that it finally does something. If it does, I will endeavour to show you. This potato vine is stunning, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful colour. And there's some more opium poppies down here. Oh, maybe the other one won't be a double. Maybe it just hasn't opened yet. Isn't that a pretty rose on the wall? Don't know what it is, sorry. It's gorgeous though. You can see there's some orchids here. Which is lovely to see. As I say, when I was a child, they used to just mow all this. So this is a lovely strip that's been allowed to, well, it's obviously managed so that the wildflowers get a chance to come through. I can see some knapweed. They've obviously got yellow rattle, bird's foot trefoil. Yeah, how lovely to see the orchids. There's the house. Isn't it gorgeous? And this, what would you call it? Well, it's a very formal lake. When we were last here with some friends, we watched, there are lots and lots of fish in here, and we watched the ducks feeding the fish. It was absolutely magical. It was so cute. I'll see if I can get you a close-up of the fish if they come to the surface, but I haven't got anything to feed them with. This is what happens if you let grass grow long. Lovely orchid. Hello.
Good luck.
They're absolutely enormous, aren't they? Yes, you're going to get fed by the ducks today. I can't see any ducks here today though. Aren't these rose swags cute? Such a nice idea. And the pleached limes are very impressive. Just give that bit of formality so that, oh sorry, I've got a feather in my hand and it was showing. Give that bit of formality which then allows you to be a lot more informal with other things. Here's a sundial. When I was a child, there was a series on called Moon Dial. Those of you in the UK that are my sort of age may have watched it, and it was one of my favourite things on television. And obviously knowing that there was a sundial here, I was rather naughty when I was a teenager. I wasn't generally naughty, but I was in this instant. I used to climb over the gate there, which you could do at the time. There's now a pond and it's all sort of fenced off, so I could come at night time and pretend that this was the main dial. It's also a book, isn't it? Helen Cresswell? Is it Helen Cresswell book? I haven't read it. I must read it actually. But yes, I just thought it was the most magical and romantic thing ever, and it also very much sort of gives sort of Tom's Midnight Garden, that sort of vibe here. And isn't this the cutest little plant shop you've ever seen? Set within part of the walled garden. Isn't it just gorgeous? Some lovely delphiniums. The lilies are about to open. Look at that for a bug hotel. Edvig Bug Hall. Wow. Aren't these lovely glass houses? The original Victorian ones, they are absolutely stunning. They obviously like their teasels as well. And this is the view from the front of the house. Quite windy around the front without the wall to protect you. This is what it looks like. The Georgian frontage. I think it's Georgian. It might be earlier than that actually. I think it was 1700s actually, so it would be earlier than Georgian, I think. It's very impressive. They've always loved this area. This is all the herbs. It's just a huge wall fronted. The figs on the wall, amazing huge figs, but yeah, all of this, it's just herbs. It's absolutely gorgeous. The smell is amazing. I always loved this bit. So I hope you enjoyed this tour of one of the places that made me who I am. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know, but it's certainly given me a lot of joy. I'm probably not going to get to do a June tour of the garden, unfortunately. I'm really sorry about that, because I'm picking up Daisy tomorrow from university, and then we're celebrating the solstice very quickly, and then we're off to Cornwall, Curnow, for my birthday for a few days, which will be really exciting. If we go anywhere that I think is worth sharing, there will be lots of places worth sharing, but Cornwall is a very busy place, so it might be difficult to film. If I can film any of the places that we go to, then I will gladly share it with you. But I'll say goodbye for now, friends, and happy solstice. To share with you all the wildflowers, even in the car park. This is the old orchard, still full of lots of fruit trees. I used to scrump here when I was a child, which means taking some apples, because they didn't used to use them when I was a child. And there's lots of mistletoe in all the apple trees. They're so old. Look, isn't this gorgeous? Isn't that just delightful? Well, that's better than mown grass, isn't it?